here we are once again with some more of this lovely game. Though, I'm definitely in a different place than you last saw me, and it's because on either Friday or Saturday, got back from a shift at work, and I booted it up, and I unintentionally played for like 4 hours till 7 a.m. So, I'm in the middle of part 1, I believe, and I finished the prologue. There were some bombs that dropped there, but let's just say I chose land over Wingwalk because fuck that bitch. That's all. Anywho, that mobility go. Oh wait, paused right.
The mongrel did it.
Mongrel always does it, land. You're a Chad. It seems dark and your knees buckle. Struggle to keep your balance. The air in here is laden with the power coming from the stone. Suddenly your head is filled with voices, screaming, whispering, cackling, threatening voices, pleading for help, shrieking curses and taunts. You blink and the illusion passes.
Congratulations. You made it all the way here. This is it. Your precious wardstone. Well, what are you planning to do now, I could kill you where you stand. But wouldn't it be nice if you could die in battle like heroes? No. I want you to die in despair, scrabbling around like rats in the blighted ruins of your city, blind and broken, your flesh scabbed and seeping, and every moment knowing precisely what was done to you.
So, time to kill a bitch, yeah?
Sounds terrifying. Except that's how we've been living for generations.
Hey, speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. I think I come from a esteemed family. I think.
There isn't a soul that can resist the temptations of the abyss. Even a stone can be turned. I'm not joking. Your precious wardstone, weakened from the injury inflicted by Biscari, has almost succumbed to my charms. Soon the whole barrier around the world wound, the gift of your useless goddess, will be a weapon of the abyss. Just a little more, and boom. Every city with one of these eyesores stuck in the middle of it, from Canabras to Neroxian, will turn into smoking craters, and all the mortals into red sludge beneath our hooves.
So definitely time to kill a bitch.
So you have a choice. Especially you, my pet. Kiss me on my dainty hoof. Pledge your loyalty to Baphomet. And when the world falls, its ruin shall be yours. You've already forgotten me.
You are very
Your
forgettable.
awfully short memories, even shorter than your little lives.
No, you're just forgettable. You're like every slutty harlot ever made. Seriously. You're not that memorable.
I am Minago, Lily II and faithful servant of Baphomet, and leader of his armies. The city is mine now. I'm just starting to settle in, get things just how I like them. But once I'm finished, I promise you, the results will be simply to die for.
Kill the bitch, kill the
And it was such a
bitch.
charming little place until you sullied it with your presence.
Kill the
It had
bitch.
such lovely boulevards, quiet and shaded. You took those away from me, and I shan't forgive you for that.
You know, sometimes, Camellia, you say things that I'm just like, shut up, bitch. And then other times, you say things I'm like, oh, that's why I keep you around.
They've
You've done much worse things than spoil the promenades. All the people they've killed.
So it seems like I stopped at just the best part to come back in with a stream. Let's go, everybody. Fantastic. We got right back into the good part. I got through all the grinding and all the lame part of the quest first, it seems.
Yes, of course, you're right. I grieve for the common folk as well.
No, you don't. You feel righteous fury swell within you. How dare this demon besmirch the ground of this beautiful world with her hooves? A world created by the gods and cultivated by mortals? And these cultists, how dare they betray all that is sacred in this world and join the force of the foulest evil? Can they repent and redeem themselves? Or have they followed the path of evil past the point of no return? The wardstone seems to sense your thoughts. The chamber below is slightly brighter.
Well, quite what am I doing to it? Probably the same thing I did to many of your comrades. Sweetly and tenderly persuading it to abandon the mortals and join our side.
Prepare to fight to the death, demon! We won't let that happen.
I like Erebeth. She's good. She good.
Make me. One of the sweetest spoils of war is gloating over your broken and humiliated enemy. You want to deny me that pleasure?
See, evil requires demon mythic paths. Come to the rage. Good requires angel mythic path. Reveal the light of heaven. Your victory celebrations are a little premature, demon. Let's reveal the light of heaven, shall we, boys? Echoing the holy flame erupting from your hand, the light also gets brighter and brighter until it floods the chamber. You hear the voices again, stronger now. They repeat your words like a choir of angels. You perform a good action.
Hey, no eyes! Didn't you tell us that heaven had turned its back on us and no one would come to our aid?
Now listen to her. The fiend wants us to lose all hope. She won't succeed. Attack. We will stop you, demon. Attack!
I'm done with this shit! I only followed this hoofed menace because I thought the Crusaders had it, and there was no other way to protect my family. But now I see that there is hope. I won't bow before these heinous idols ever again. If they kill me, at least I'll die a decent death.
Hell yeah. All can be forgiven, but you gotta earn it.
Yes! Return to our side, friends! Have courage! We will welcome you back, and heaven never abandoned you, no matter what this deceiver told you.
Damn right.
Turncoat, I'll cut out your heart.
We'll see how tough you really are. We let you frighten us once, but it won't happen again.
Defeat is not an option.
Let's go. We switch to turn-based mode now. She's going first, eh? Okay. Aw, she can't charge to him? Her? Lame. Battle Spirit. Okay, we got land using his turn now. Okay. My turn, eh? Nice. Hold up. Trying to get that off the screen. There we go. See her turn. Fatigued? Lame. Okay, you're useless. Okay, Land's turn.
You won't survive me.
Explosion. Her turn.
I'll cut you wide open.
Okay. Pretty awful.
Do not hold back.
Oh, okay then.
I'm tired of playing around now. You want to know what will happen when I'm done with the Ward Stone? Here's a little demonstration.
Yeah, I know I failed a saving throw. That was awful. Spilling away with darkness sweeps through the chamber. Your companions wince in pain, but it's nothing compared to what you feel. Thousands of voices once again burst in your mind and drown you in your moans, screams, sigh, pain racks through your skull. You don't British, you will never give up. You will never give up. Evil, you will pay for this demon's come. You will pay dearly. Good. Evil spells will stop a righteous army.
Iomade is with us!
Yes, yes. Keep telling yourself that.
The roar voice blends into an unbearable whisper that you goes quiet. It's actually a bit loud though. Actually too loud. Let's let the record show that we damaged her though. We stabbed her a little bit.
Praise Iomade, you woke up. Healing your wounds was easy, but you were unconscious for so long, I was starting to worry we'd lost you.
Wait, what? How'd we get here? Okay. Happened? Did we win? Where am I?
We couldn't stand up to the demoness. Her spells were too strong. It's all right. We'll handle it somehow. You blacked out, but Staunton and I managed to get you here to the Defender's Heart. It used to be a tavern, but now it's our headquarters. We're gathering our forces here, and we're preparing to strike back. Demons have been filling Canabras with their spies and infiltrators for a long time. Unfortunately, I don't have enough people to attack the place right now. At least not blindly. I'd be grateful if you snuck in there and scouted out the situation. But just scouting. Don't be a hero.
I'm gonna be a hero. You heard the lady. She told me to be a hero. She told me that I need to show her that was some damn good flying. What is the situation in the city?
Bad, but not hopeless. We're constantly getting news, and new sources of resistance keep springing up in the districts where everyone seemed to be dead. The survivors are gathering here. You should see them. Their faces, their eyes burning with determination. The city is destroyed, but our resistance is not broken. We will keep fighting. You heard what the demon said. They're going to desecrate the Ward Stone and blow up the whole barrier around the World Wound. That would be an even worse disaster than the World Wound's expansion before the Second Crusade. Not only Canabras, but every city with a Ward Stone will be destroyed, including the capital. We can't allow that no matter what. We will retake it, even destroy it if we must. Iomede's gift must not become a weapon of the Abyss.
Understood.
The Ward Stones are a gift of Iomade, created personally by her herald, a mighty angel, and a general of the Celestial armies. The Ward Stones keep the World Wound from expanding. They stand along the border of the territory controlled by the demons, creating a barrier to keep them inside. The Canabras Obelisk was the first to be placed. It is the key to the whole barrier. We cannot leave it in the hands of those monsters from the Abyss.
Got it.
First of all, we need to decide what to do with the stone once we get it. What I'm about to say is classified. A traveler came to the city recently. A blind elf calling himself the Storyteller. He insisted he be allowed to examine the Ward Stone, and he raised the alarm when his study was finished. Even before the demon attack, he had found some damage or flaw in the stone. Prelate Hulrune dismissed his words as nonsense, borderline blasphemy. But between you and me, the prelate's opinion isn't worth much. I think the Storyteller knew what he was talking about. We could use his advice right now, if only we knew where he was. I remember the Storyteller spent a lot of time talking to Staunton, a dwarf from my unit. You saw him during the demon attack. The elf asked him about the history of the Crusades. Maybe the Storyteller told Staunton something about where we could find him if anything happened. There's another problem. After the attack, the demons began to gather their forces at the Grey Garrison. It'll be even harder to take them with a head-on assault. But I once heard soldiers talking about a secret entrance to the garrison. Trouble is, I have no idea where to look for it. While you explore the city, please keep your eyes open, in case you find something we can use.
Got it.
And one last thing. The Eagle Watch has lost a lot of soldiers recently. Some were killed, but others simply haven't been seen since the attack. In the chaos that is now Canabras, it's next to impossible to confirm anything for sure. One of the missing fighters is Janna Aldori, a new recruit in the Watch. She got along well with Sela, and she often went drinking with her. I honestly thought Sela and Janna had died together. But now Sela's returned with you, and there's no sign of Janna. If you learn anything of her whereabouts when you're out in the city, please report back.
Got it.
May the goddess help you. We're still fighting, which means that Canabras still hasn't fallen. If you come across any groups in the city that can fight, send them here to the Defender's Heart. We'll need every fighter we can muster for the final assault. Yes, one more thing. If you're in the area, check out this address. It's our house. Mine and Anevia's. Well, it was our house. If the building is still standing, open the hidden compartment in the kitchen. It's filled with supplies for a rainy day. You can take whatever you find. You have more need of it.
Nice. See, Airbeth's good people. She's great. Yeah, gimme. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Well, exploring Grey Garrison. Collect. Boots, collect. Together we're plus 2 council on saving against movement impairing conditions. Equip! Countless bonus on persuasion skill checks. Where plus 1 natural armor, enhancement plus armor, this bonus is not stack. I'll keep the other one for now. Where's the pet at? Where do I actually equip the pet? Owl cat. There he is. Someone's a pet owl cat. Yay! Can he be killed? Or like, is he fine? I don't know. So like, summon? No? Okay. Where's that? There he is, he's over here. Hey wait, might have been your ear about something? Sure, what up? The first most important thing, look, Beth gave you a crucial mission, I get that, and I know you'll get the job done. I saw you in action. Here's the rub. By sending you on an errand, we're weakening your defenses here. If they come out at us while you're gone, I don't know if we'll be able to fight them off. Everything seems clear so far, what else do you wish to discuss? Do you want me to stay here and guard the tavern? When do you think the demons will attack next? Thank you for your warning, see you later. So the rift that damn beetle left with the scythe. Yeah, well, it cut the city into two, and it's kind of difficult to get across. My scouts tell me there's a halfway decent place to set up a crossing in Market Square. Not that any of them tried it to make sure, but if you got a mind to go across, I think you're gonna have to eventually. You might want to give the square a once over. Okay. You what? No, your task is far too important. You can't just hole up here all cozy like waiting for the demons to unlock on the door. We need to take the fight to them. But if those freaks try to make a move on this place, Bessel's gonna run to get you. If that happens, you leg it back here, alright? Because if you don't, you'll be coming back to an ash pile. Got it? Uh-huh. Your guess is as good as mine. I might not be here, but they could attack the whole damn city. Those vermin know they've lost the upper hand and that we're going to push back hard. Things took off here, you should know. After they attack, some things could be changed beyond recognition, so if you've got any business that needs taken care of, you better do it soon. Thanks for the warning, see you later. Yo, Horgrus, give me my money. Yeah, take this. Yes, it's 2,000 coins. Take your payment and remember that Horgrus Worm always keeps his word. You helped me get back to the surface, and I duly paid you for escorting me. Now, speaking of our future corporation. Yeah. Horgrus looks at you with unvarnished disapproval, his arms folded across his chest, his foot tapping impatiently. Fuck off, Horgrus. Quit being a prick. I have a job that would be perfect for someone like you. Naturally, I'll pay generously for your service. What do you mean a job for someone like me? So what does this job involve? What kind of reward are we talking about? For an adventurer ready to sell their soul for booze and then lie down drunk in the gutter? Or do you think you're somehow different. A traveling knight, perhaps, noble of heart, but without a coin to your name. Wow, fuck you, dude. You seem a reliable enough ally to me, and you did get me out of those mongrel caves, so why should I care what you do with my money once you've got it? Skeeter for session. Her seems like one of those people who think the entire world owes them something. However, you hear notes of hysteria beneath his smug arrogance, as if those he's really quite nervous, but taking great pains to conceal it. Noble bird doesn't give you the right to behave badly. I would ask that you refrain from such statements in the future. So it's this guy. Puts his hand on his hip. Oh really? How impudent! How no one dares tell a risk worm how to address the rabble! Uh-huh. So what does the job entail, fat man? You shall be my bodyguard, you see. I have good reason to return to my mansion here in Canabreth. I still have, well, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. My mansion is a breathtaking building with a large garden in the wealthy part of the city. Even before the demons attacked, every thief and fraudster in the city had tried to get inside one way or another. I shudder to imagine the state it's in now. I have little hope that my guards were able to hold the mansion during the attack, and I expect that servants fled when they saw the demons. Only Abadar knows what's happened there since. Therefore, I would ask that you meet me at my mansion and guard me there until I complete my business. I already asked the local paladins for help, but they're no desire to set foot outside this tavern. Damn cowards and traitors, that's what they are. So please do take Camellia with you. I trust that girl more than the rest of your gang. She is of noble birth, after all. What kind of reward are we talking about? 1,000 gold coins. I don't know if I can land this. Ha, yeah, right. For that kind of money, I could hire Queen Gallifrey herself to guard me. 1,000 is my final offer. Yeah. Marvelous, most excellent. Soothing a few of his distant lines. I'll proceed to my mansion at once and wait for you there. Meanwhile, you needn't worry. I know the city like the back of my hand, but do hurry unless you want me to lower your reward. Yo, fuck you, dude. Lower my reward, asshole. Would that be stealing if I looted that? Crusader, citizen. You have a name. Curious about that. Lands over there. Yeah, 23 is pretty high, honestly. And that I would have been able to get it without saves coming. And I don't want to reload from an autosave, so, yo. Strange figure towers over the bar, a huge ungainly man with skin so milky white that his blue veins are visible even from the distance. His bald head is equal parts lumpy and pitted, and blood-filled eyes stare past at you with from beneath his pale brows. Glass in the albino's large, clumsy hand looks dangerously delicate, as if one twitch of those callous fingers be enough to crush it. Gold medallion engraved with a tankard gleams around his neck. What will it be? The medallion you're wearing. That's a sacred symbol, isn't it? Are you a cleric, Caden Kalen? I'm a tavern keeper, but in the city. Best in the city. The best there ever is. And I pray the best god there is. Damn straight. Let's go. Who are you? How do you end up the city? So shall we raise a toast to Caden? May he show us wisdom at the bottom of every tankard. So drink. No one's stopping you. Just remember it's down in the house. Aww. Nah. Vampire. You're a vampire. Oh, look at that. Are you really a vampire? Long look of reproach, and then grudgingly answers, no. You end up here. How did you or them? With a huge hand, the tavern keeper gestures to the rectangle group assembled in the room. This world is big, but still there isn't a place for everyone. People who no longer have a life anywhere else, they end up here. There's demons everywhere, and you showed up. You mean places that normal people usually stay well away from. There are plenty, like the Pitaxian wine cellar. Like the name of the place alone should make you quiver in fear. Once belonged to the Pitaxian trading house, then King Eravati came to power in Pitax and probably started changing hands. Soon after, the seller's shop assistant was found in a ditch, not all of him mined, just his head. Myriad gangsters had taken possession of the place. They wanted to sell something stronger than wine on the street. And he ended up on the gallows. Then King Iraveti's number was up, so now the store stands empty and unclaimed. People say that a headless ghost wanders the place at night, moaning ghoulishly. Ooh. So you're not one for talking. Gives you a long, mournful look and says nothing. Okay then, dude. Alright, time to get rid of some of this stuff. Get rid of one long spear. Not all of them, just one of them. All but one. All but one. Dap. There we go. That's so many glaives. This is why we hoarded and risked fatigue. I saw all those. All the daggers sold. All the chain shirts sold. All the leather armor sold. All the scale mail but one sold. All the studded leather but one sold. Cast certain spells. Neat. Did we pay well for it? Yep. I'm only keeping the pearls because I remember there were some spells that needed it as a crafting component a long time ago. I don't know if they still do or not. Still super overweight. Looks like. Sell any of this? Gloves of the Neophyte. Reduce cast a cantrip, or first level slow. The deal deals 1 additional points of damage per die rolled. That's not bad. Dark Omen, what's this? If the wearer of this ring has the ability to cast spells spontaneously, it grants them the ability to cast the following spells: Ray of Enfeeblement, Scare, Ray of Exhaustion, Fear, and Waves of Fatigue. To cast a spell, the wearer still needs to have a spell slot at the required level. Interesting. I'll buy that, I guess, and deal. There we go. I don't know what that said, but it says something. Within the snake ship bone lamp of the dangles around her pale neck, noticing your lance, she flashed you a cold, barely fair smile. Greetings. It seems for a moment that the girl wants to say something else, but the pause grows too long and she slips back into cautious silence. Know more about me when you already do? Why? I talked to the spirits of this tormented land and they guided me in battle. I'll help you fight their demons, and I swear that you can rely on me in this matter. Isn't that sufficient? Where did you learn to wield a rapier so well? I had good teachers, although they don't get all the credit. I am a most diligent student. My little trinket, it's so nice of you to notice, but I assure you, this amulet is nothing but a bauble. Can a lady not be drawn to beautiful, useless things? Anyway, as much as I enjoyed the light friendship, the spirits are calling me and I must respond. Please excuse me. Do you tell me you are of noble birth? As she watches you from under lowered lashes, you're most insightful, a quite fine quality to have. Laughter ends and unspoken words hanging in the ends. So I believe that being a noble birth does not give anyone the right to look down on others. Forgive me if if my questions disturb you. I couldn't resist such a noble and beautiful lady. I will stop bothering you immediately if talking to me upsets you. If there's nothing wrong with being noble, people are not born equal. Well, I suppose we all have our good and bad qualities. Flirt is an exquisite delight. Yeah. That's what I thought would happen if you said that. That's why I saved scum. I wasn't sure if it was like oh, you don't belong in my party. She's like, oh, I don't? It's like, no, you're clearly something outside of this. Why are you in a party of adventurers when you're clearly aren't the type to usually be in this sort of situation? An abandoned citadel, one whose high crumbling walls are still holding fast, but whose empty, lightless windows make it clear that all inside is dead. Oh, it's you. Good work back there in the Gracier. Name's Staunton Wayne. If you've heard rumors about me, a face which looks like it has never known anything as carefree as smuggler's. Just so you know, everything people say about me is true. To the elf who calls himself Story, do you know where I can find him? Strange old fellow, that one. He used to sit with me for hours, asking about all sorts of things. Never offered judgment or comfort, he just listened. First, I wanted him and his questions as far away from me as possible. Later, I realized that talking to him did ease my burden a little. Hope he is alive and well. He's completely blind and feeble, too. So if he's alone in the city, well, you probably know what that means. I do know one place he might be. Look for him in the Black Wing. It's a library. Here, show you where it is on the map. I don't know what use a library is to a blind elf, but he loved the place. He would sit there day and night. They say I'm a traitor, as bad as a Rilu Vorlesh, that I'm a disgrace even among the ranks of the condemned, that Queen Galfrey should never have spared me, that I belong on the gallows. Why do they hate you so much? You don't really have any friends. Why do they hate you so much? You really don't know? This one gives you a long, morose look in size. I'm the reason why the Crusade forces are holed up in a fortress on the edge of the world wound, instead of bringing the fight to the demons. We used to have a foothold in the wound. The mighty, inaccessible city of Dresden. We used to have it until it fell, and all because of my stupidity. I gave the enemy our main citadel. I was tried. They wanted to execute me, and rightly so. But the Queen intervened. She said that I should live and fight in order to undo what I have done.
That's how I live, decade after decade, fighting in the condemned. As you can see, I have fixed nothing, and I have earned no one's forgiveness. Going to spit in my face too? Wouldn't surprise me.
Good. I hope you earn forgiveness. Lawful. You keep living and fighting with no hope of anything better because that's what Queen ordered you to do? There is honor in that! Chaotic, you were given the chance to live, so live, and stop blaming others for what you've made your life. Chaotic. Evil spit in his face.
Thank you. From the depths of my soul, I thank you. But I haven't had hope for a long, long time.
Knight glares at you from Anis's verbal.
If you don't trust the word of a condemned, go ask somebody else, like my little brother Yoran. If you still don't believe me, what's it to me? But if you're about to ask me to recount the story of my disgrace with another time, don't. Couldn't have survived this long if I was completely alone. Jorn, my little brother, he keeps me going. He's never abandoned me. Everyone else shies away from me like they might catch what I've got. Even fighters in the kingdom console themselves by thinking, I got stripped of my rank, but at least I'm not stopped. It's not up to me to decide. My life is in the Queen's hands. The condemned isn't the worst part. All these years I have prayed to Torak for forgiveness. Countless times I've gone to his priest. Countless times I've kneeled before his altar. If only the Father of Dwarvenkind would answer my prayers just once, not to restore what I've lost, but just to tell me that I am still one of his children. But it seems he doesn't give a damn about me. What can I expect from mere mortals when my own God doesn't think I deserve redemption?
Oof. Big oof right there. Poor guy. Feel bad for him. He did kind of bring it on himself because he fell for a demon, but still. The fuck? Oh, okay, they're still here. Before I loot that, save. I don't know if it's stealing. Okay, looks like not, maybe. Who are you? In well-worn traveling clothes, a wooden symbol of Aristil on his chest is efficiently cutting a linen robe in strips to use as bandages. Despite his visible exhaustion, he works with zeal, singing some tune about red braids and ripe sheaves of wheat under his breath. There's his warm, chestnut-colored eyes to you. Are you one of the Crusaders? Thank you for defending us, those whose talents lie off of the battlefield. I'm Jarnog, Servant of Estriel. Pleased to meet you. I only took my holy orders recently, so my God has only bestowed a little of his power upon me as of yet. I'm sorry to say that the number of wounded fighters in this tavern is far beyond my power to heal, but there's a reason people say have faith in gods, but look to yourself first. May not be able to help the wounded with magic, but I can at least cut up bandages. No, I was just passing through Canabra, so I was sailing down that old man of ours, the great Sullen River, to a village by the name of Chili Creek. Happened to land in the city on the eve of the festival, and I'm ashamed to say I decided to stay for a day to enjoy myself, but I ended up staying in the city longer than I'd bargained for. Small fishing village. It's not even marked on some maps, but people do live there. What they don't have is a priest. That they have no one to heal their wounds, no one to offer prayers for a good catch, no one to give their dead a dignified burial, and the world wound is a stone's throw away. So I'll be setting sail for Chili Creek to serve my God and my people. Any experience here? Afraid to go to the border of the world wound? I won't lie, I'm afraid, but what can I do? Those villagers are simple people. Every day of their short lives is spent doing hard, honest work. That's exactly the kind of life I want, something simple but meaningful. If I had centuries ahead of me, like elves do, I might have spent some 50 years or so to travel around the world. Maybe even 100, why not? But I don't have time to spare, so I want to spend my short life in a place where I'm needed most, even if it's dangerous, especially if it's dangerous. Knows I'd be glad to help you, but it's no use. My spells are depleted and I have no training in potions or scrolls. See this rope I'm cutting up for bandages? It's the second to last one. Alright then. What was that quest-wise? Oh, okay. It says in front of you, his eyes closed, he's pale as a ghost, his arm wrapped in blood, same man, she spot other paintings on his body and his clothing. I can inform Autumn Hayes at your service, written by blood, and you see no signs of pain or fear. Do you need help? You can't trouble yourself on my behalf. A local healer turned to me. Besides, I came from resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wounds and the poison delivered through them. I come here from Keonan because I am a hunter, and all minions of evil are my quarry. I won't say any more than that, but if you don't mind, we are strangers and of different races and cultures. I'd rather not tell you more than necessary. Sinner and accomplished demons, quarry I'm hunting, and this unhospitable land. She refused such a direct and friendly offer. Finding a fugitive, a desperate by the name of Kaelissa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I managed to catch up to her in Canabras and I wounded her. Then demons appeared and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued and couldn't free her soul from its service to her dark masters. Here she as he speaks only compassionate sorrow. There is no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. When we gain a deeper understanding of the world than other races, we learn our lessons better than anyone. That goes for learning from our mistakes as well. I survive, which means I will be more prepared the next time we meet. Won't hold anything back. Not who I am, why I made my way here, or who it is that I am pursuing. People tend to believe that identity is the sum of a person's actions and events that happen to them. For them, I am one of the long line of warriors of Keonan, who since his youth has dedicated himself to hunting evil and injustice. For them, I am a successful and capable huntsman who has tracked down and slain a great many monsters. That I am an elf, and for me, my identity has a different meaning. It is shaped by the place where I was born and that I love so deeply. I am shaped by what I find beautiful and what makes my heart quickened by the fears that come to me in the dead of night, the things I find so intolerable that at the sight of them, my very core darkens and fills with poison. Thus, to tell you who I am, I would require many days and much candor, which is more than you and I have at our disposal. He's kind of pompous and like, hey, look at me, I'm an elf. But I kind of dig him, not gonna lie, kind of dig him. He's not wrong. It does take more than one day to get to know somebody, so. Because I am the son of a noble and proud nation. We are sometimes criticized for our arrogance, but no one dares doubt our honor. When a crime is committed, we cannot turn a blind eye. If we were here to abandon our obligation to oppose evil, if we were to surrender this obligation to other races, we would also relinquish our preeminence. Neat. Oh shit, that's a high-ass knowledge. Thank you, but this is my mission. I'm used to facing all manners of terrors on my own. I do appreciate your willingness to help. If you happen to meet Kaelissa, take caution. She has turned many innocent souls to the path of evil, and darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that it is warped. The agate skin, the malicious stare of her blood-red eyes, the bestial teeth. She's more monster than elf at this point. Good fortune to you. Save scum no jutsu. I honestly highly doubt I'll be able to actually reach a 26 though. Yeah, it's not my specific character's forte. Oh, I can level up more than just myself here. I didn't even know I had my party members in this. Neat. I was waiting for no reason. So, I will get those if I stick to War Priest. What do I need to go into like this? Just need the ability to cast arcane spells level 1. To be able to become one of those. Okay, so skill points allocation. Okay, so I get a feat. Spellcasting, when threatened or distracted, you get a +4 bonus on concentration check speed to cast a spell or use a spell-like ability, combat reflexes, defense, maneuvers, dazzling display. Frighten enemies benefit. While wielding the weapon in which you have weapon focus, you can perform a bewildering show of prowess as a full round action. Make a persuasion intimidate check to demoralize all foes on 30 feet who can see your display. Or long exercises do not easily tire you. Benefit, you get a +2 bonus on athletic checks and a +4 bonus on fortitude saves against fatigue and exhaustion. You may sleep in light or medium armor without becoming fatigued. That's nice, honestly. I just shrink my persuasion skills when used to intimidate checks in addition to Christmas bonfire. Iron Will, you get +2 bonus on will saving throws. Reflex, magical tail kitsune. You are adjusted to one or more allies. Also, this fate you get +1 on saving throws per each ally. Okay. Shield focus, shield wall, shield caster. On all checks involving the chosen skill, if you have 10 or more ranks in that skill, this bonus increases to +6. You can gain this feat multiple times, and each effect does not say. Each time you take this feat, it applies to a new skill. Okay. Spell focus, yeah, spell penetration. Plus sonic hash spell resist more easily than most. Maintain from creature spell resistance. Stealthy, throw anything. Tower shield proficiency, warrior priest. On bonus on initiative checks to do bonus on concentration checks. That's not bad, honestly. Then grab Kit Tail, just cause. I get another feat too. Nice. This one's specifically a combat feat though. Weapon focus. Honestly, I'm gonna take endurance just because I don't really want to deal with fatigue anymore. Key pool, okay, fast movement, key strike, point blank master, and it's an archery. Yeah, level 3 monk just feels like it's way too good to pass up. Take a -1 penalty on all range attacks rolls to gain a +2 bonus on all range damage rolls. Your base attack bonus reaches. Okay, that's that one. Alertness, gain +2 bonus to perception skill checks. You have 10 or more. Precision light armor doesn't have falling light precision armor. Has that no companion. You become precision with light armor. Does he have AC bonus? When unarmored and unencumbered, the monk adds his wisdom bonus if fitting to his AC, and yeah, so this is me without even being, yeah, so putting armor just kind of feels meh. Or your eyes and your eyes are his benefit. You are flanked, while you are flanked and adjacent to an ally with this feat, you receive a +2 circumstance bonus to AC against detection on opponents playing a blind fight. Coordinated defense, coordinated maneuvers, dazzling display. Deceitful, deflect arrows, uses feet once per turn. When you would normally be hit with an attack from a ranged weapon, you may deflect it so that you take no damage from it. You must deft hands. You can plus an ultra green magic skill devices. Make a targeted dispel check against opponent that must succeed on 40 save or be stunned until the start of your next turn. If the Safety is just at second. You successfully dispel an ongoing magical effect on an opponent. That opponent takes most penalty throws against your spells for 1 round dodge. Bonus to AC, a condition that makes you lose your dex bonus to AC also makes you lose the benefits of this feat, Dragon style. You call upon the spirit of dragonkind, gaining greater resilience, ability, and fierceness from the blessings of these great beings. While using the style, you gain a +2 bonus on saving throws against sleep effects, paralysis effects, stunning effects. Furthermore, you can add 1.5 times the strength modifier to the damage roll of your first armor strike on a given round. Damn! That's kind of nice. Endurance, great fortitude. You get +2 bonus on all fortitude saving throws. Defending prowess, Iron Will, lightning reflexes, martial weapon proficiency. Mounted combat. An ally who also has feet or flanking the same creature, you deal an additional 1d6 points of precision damage. Spread scrolls, use the movement, shake it off. Shield proficiency, simple weapon proficiency. Skill focus. Nah. Stealthy. Stunning fist. Or strike at a temporary stun a foe. You may use this feat before you make your attack. Thus, a failed attack roll restamp. Stunning fist forces a foe damaged by your unarmed attack to make a fortitude saving throw DC 10 plus half your character level or your plus your wisdom modifier in addition to dealing damage. Normally, winner who fails the saving throw is stunned for 1 round until just before your next turn. Stunning character drops everything held. You can't take actions. You may use something. That's pretty nice, honestly. Making a full attack with a ranged weapon, you can fire 1 additional time this round at your highest bonus. Attack rolls take a -2 penalty when using a rapid shot. I don't know, rapid shot kind of sounds nice for him. Rapier made for a creature your size cover, you may use your extreme modifier so your shield for your own attack rolls and focus. There it is, dodge. Range weapon, you got opportunities with firing this like weapon while threatened. Longbow, ray. What's a ray? I don't know. Short bow, longbow, light crossbow, javelin, heavy crossbow, longbow. Pretty sure that's what he already has. Yeah, longbow. Gains access to a second level spell. Potions of spells up to level 3 during camping. Building magical trait of the elves, granting you a +2 racial bonus on cast level checks made to overcome spell resistance. In addition, you receive plus racial bonus knowledge or con checks made to defy the properties of magic items. Improved elven immunities. Even more resistant to enhancement spells. Enchantment spells, gaining additional +2 bonus on saving throws against them. Additionally, DC of enchantment spells you cast increased by 1. Wielding a light weapon or any other weapon that can be used with weapon finesse, you can choose to take a -1 penalty on all melee attack rolls and combat maneuver checks to gain a +2 penalty on all melee damage rolls. The damage bonus bonus damages have 50% if you're making an attack with an offhand weapon or secondary natural weapon. Your base attack bonus reaches +4 for every 4 points thereafter. The penalty increased by -1. The bonus damage rolls +2. You must choose to use this feat before the attack roll. Okay. She's already a paladin. What does paladin get at level 3? Or of courage. Third level paladin is immune to fear, magical or otherwise. Each ally within 10 feet of her gains +4 morale bonus saving throws against fear effects. Ability functions only while the paladin is conscious. No, she's unconscious. It's not bad. Third level, every 3 levels draft, paladin can select 1 mercy. Each mercy adds an effect to the paladin's lay on hands ability. Whenever the paladin uses lay on hands to heal damage to one target, the target also receives additional effects from all the mercies provided. That's not bad. Third level, paladin is immune to all diseases, including supernatural and magical diseases, including mummy rot. So I could give her. Give her that, or I could dip her into monk. Is a revered teacher who imparts lessons on the ones of mind, body, and spirit, along with occasional correction that is subtle and swift, rather than using wisdom for his own benefits alone. He uses it to better those around him. Master of the horse and hunt, a monastic soldier who is equally adept at combat afoot or on horseback, well skilled in unarmed techniques. Many Sohei favor weapons that they can use while mounted on horseback or against other horses. Let's see what his advice do. Is identical to bardic performance, allowing him to aspire courage at level first level, aspire confidence at third level, and aspire greatness at the level with bardic plus his wisdom modifier, and starting a burn for this interaction can be maintained if he tries free action charting a bardic performance. Okay. To be armed, even when unarmed, you can make an armor attack that deals 1 to 3 bludgeoning damage, if medium, 1 to 2 small. AC bonus. Stunning Fist, Unarmed Strike, gains improved Unarmed Strike as a bonus feat, damage dealt by medium arcs, Unarmed Strike, increases with level 1d6, level 1 to 3, 1d8, 1 bonus feat, 1 proficiencies. Evasion, can avoid even magical unusual attacks with great agility. The character makes successful reflex saving throw against attack. She doesn't have the best agility, but I feel like this would be worth doing just because it allows me some nice stuff. Don't know. Maybe specking her into Cavalier would be better. So you can have a mount. Teamwork feat as a bonus feat. He must meet the request for this feat. A standard company can grant his teamwork feat to all allies 30 feet who you see and hear him. All allies retain one of this feat to 30 rounds. Nice. Weapon armor proficiency. Beast Rider. It's defined not only by his dedication and order or his skill on the battlefield, but also by the special relationship he maintains with his mount. Where some cavaliers are simply skilled with horses or well-trained knights, the Beast Rider spends his life in constant pursuit of the most perfect mount, with greater, more powerful, more exciting creatures. Players use this feat to inspire their troop for an user approach. Gives us the finer points of technical precision than he does with exhilaration and charge. It's right on the head of the charge, leading from the front and face down their enemies directly. Some prefer to stand away from the fray. Their banners are beacons shining brightly over the battlefield. Order the pike are renowned monster hunters taking on large game using ancient weapon arts combined with modern equipment. The bigger they are. Example, the pike gets closer to bonus astonishing creature larger than he is. This bonus increases by +1 the creature is 2 sizes categories larger at 6th level. The bonus increases to +3 against creatures 3 sizes larger at level. Oh, interesting. Honestly, I kind of just feel like having 1 rank of Cavalier on her would not be a bad idea. Time to consult people who know Pathfinder better than me. Let's see. Hmm. I think I'll go Paladin 3rd level and then Cavalier 4th level. Just to get Aura of Courage and Mercy and some Divine Health. Yeah, I could get another Smite and some Channel Positive Energy if I just go straight Paladin, but I think grabbing 1 level Cavalier after I get 3rd level in Paladin would be good. I'm not entirely sure though how multiclassing works in Pathfinder, honestly. Don't know if you get like only the 1st level abilities, like if I only get this, or if I get this and this 3rd level one here too. I'm not really sure. Ah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. Do I get, like, how does it work? Do I end up getting, it's like starting a new class from level 1. Yeah, that's what I thought. That if I do this, I get level 1 here, and then I'd have to go more levels into this to get the additional benefits from this. Because getting some of this sounds great. Like, at least one of these, like, a rank of Cavalier sounds amazing, right? Because I get Tactician, which is amazing. I get a free animal companion. Get to have a bonus feat for Tactician, which would be really great, and I could challenge, which would be nice too. But if I go and wait, I can get Aura of Courage first, which will then also give me Mercy and Divine Health, which will be nice. And then so if I get level 3 Paladin first, then I could dip into Cavalier. I think that would make more sense. Like, I could try to gain access to Paladin spells, I suppose. But I have plenty of spellcasters so far. Like, some of these are nice later down the line, but that's a lot later. Exactly. It's like, fear, fear, fear. It's like, stop being mildly annoying. Stop mildly inconveniencing me, please. So yeah, I think I'll go and grab 3rd level Paladin for Aura of Courage. Divine Health's not bad either. That's a bit niche, but it's useful. So we'll do that, then I'll get it. So that... The only problem with dipping her into Paladin is that she has, apparently, I think, really bad, bad, bad dex, I think it is. So, like, kind of meh dex, really. But other than that, she's mostly good. Let's see. Put her on some more Knowledge World, because she already had that. Knowledge Religion, you know, buff her Persuasion, I guess. Could bump mobility as well, I guess. Yeah, they made her a straight paladin. Okay. So if I'm gonna make her a cav, then going ahead right now and giving her some teamwork stuff is fine, right? Is that how that worked? Oh. Killer receives a teamwork feat as most of these humans speak from standards. The killer can grant his teamwork feat to all allies within 30 feet. You can see to hear him. All allies remain the use of this ability at level 30 plus 1 round for every 2 levels. Don't need to meet this ability. The killer can use this ability once per day plus. He must meet the original for his feat. As a standard, actually, killer can grant his teamwork feat to all allies. Is it only one teamwork feat? It kind of looks like it's only one. Damn, banner's good. Oh well. You already spent the points. So go back over defeats. Move through dangerous melee. Gain plus for dodge bonus armor when it gets attacks of opportunity caused when you move out or within threatened area. Make sure you use your dexterity bonus armor slash chance. Make sure you use a dodge bonus. Additional attacks of opportunity per round equal to your dexterity bonus. With this feat, you may also make attacks of opportunity while flat-footed. Use your lay on hands ability. Hey, go back up. 2 additional times per day. Special. You can gain extra lay on hands multiple times. Its effect stacks. That's nice. You need 1 additional skill point per level. Use this feat gain a +2 racial bonus on saving throws to resist mind affecting effects. The bonus increases +4. This effect is also a fear effect. That's neat. Gain +2 bonus on all fortitude saving throws. Persuasion skill. On will saving throws, lightning reflexes, on all reflex saving throws. Must be using a shield uses feat once per turn when you would normally be hit with an attack from a ranged weapon, not including spell effects, natural attacks, or massive ranged weapons. You may deflect it so that you take no damage, as if you had the deflect arrow feat. You must all be aware of the attack and not flat-footed. That's neat. Your mount is hit in combat. You attempt a mobility check to negate the hit. The hit is negated if your mobility check results in greater than the opponent's attack roll. Does Cav just give mounted combat or no? No. It's weird. Why doesn't it give it? You'd think it would give it. No, don't do that. Hold up. feel like fast learner will just pay off in dividends, honestly. Like, I could get mounted combat now, honestly. I don't really feel like it. Whenever the paladin uses lay on hands to heal damage to one target, the target is no longer fatigued. That sounds useful. No longer shaken, no longer sickened. Honestly, judging by how certain things go, I'm just gonna take the fatigued one just because I don't want to deal with my characters being fatigued more often, you know? Nice. Medium encumbrance. Lame. I have no clue if I'll be able to get that save, honestly. Because it's so high. It's 26 world check. It's like, damn, bro. It's like, what do I need to roll to get that? Assuming I have everybody in my party, which it kind of looks like I do. Don't know. Hold on. I can't gather while I'm in here. It's mildly annoying. But her seemingly unfocused eyes are taking everything around her, tracking flittering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers on her hip near her weapon sheath. She shows no signs of injuries and confidently leads on her previously broken leg. She pretends to have just noticed you, though she wants you to approach her from far. Oh hey, see how they will patch me up? Now I can run, jump, and dance with the jig if I feel like it. Any suspicious place in the city I should be attention to. There were a couple spots I wanted to check out, but I didn't have time. If there really is a den of cultists here, it would be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need a search warrant. First one is the Silken Thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric, but they always seem oh so busy. Busy with something in there, alright, but sewing ain't it. Second one is the Alchemy Shop, Topaz Solutions, and they trade in everything, not just healing potions. Judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going on in that place. Don't be yourself. I'd be happy to, but there's kind of nothing to tell. What's so interesting about me? Where are you from? How did you meet Irabeth? What is it like living with Irabeth? Nowhere. I was blown by the wind and found in a cabbage patch. Sorry, that's an old habit of mine. I don't like blabbing about my past, but you saved my skin, so I guess I kind of owe it to you to not clown around, right? Yeah, don't be a bitch. From Nidal, and I wouldn't wish my homeland on my worst enemy. You've heard of the place, I'm sure. Ruled by monsters that aren't alive nor dead. This religion is the cult of Zon Kuthon. I grew up in a slum like a weed between the cobblestones. I didn't have a dad, but I had lots of aunts and uncles. My mom's cronies. No prize for guessing the kind of business she was involved in. They gave me a set of lockpicks as soon as I could hold a spoon, and while other kids were picking their noses, I was picking pockets. Uh-huh. When I was 12, the monks of the Silent Shroud came for us. Creepy guys with their mouths sewn shut. They're the guards of Nisrush. Mom gave me to her friends, and we hid in the secret temple of Desna. I never saw my mom again. I lay low in the temple for the next few years, kept my head down, I washed floors, fetched water, listened to sermons. Funny thing, after a while I started liking Desna's teaching. But as soon as I was old enough, I was out of there. I left Nidal, and I got as far away as I could. You got that right. Only the best for you. What do you do if the knights and nobles fail to save the world? The lowlives are our only hope. How'd you meet her, Beth? I was bumming around Taimon a while back, doing this and that. Desmond temples sometimes gave me odd jobs, you know. Sometimes they needed people with skills like mine. On the surface, it was fine, I guess. After Needle, the freedom of the River Kingdoms should have seemed like heaven. A chance to sit back and enjoy a life, but I wasn't happy. There just wasn't any joy in my new life. I was all alone, no one cared about me, and I didn't care about anybody either. I struggled to find a reason to drag myself out of bed every morning. Trying a stone around my neck and jumping in the nearest river started to look pretty appealing. One day I was hired to follow some fellows who the local authorities suspected were Rasmiran spies. I was stupid. I made a rookie mistake and they caught me. It's like my body had already decided to do what my mind had been fighting, to finally put me out of my misery. Got someone else to kill me, since I didn't have the guts to do it myself. They grabbed me. I thought they got me on the spot, but instead they hog-tied me and dragged me off. Just like an animal going to the slaughter, my only thought was, let's get this over with. They brought me to their stinking cave, threw me on their altar, and I realized who it was. Kuthites from Nidal. They tracked me down after all those years, but I didn't care anymore. Who wouldn't even have had wouldn't even have cared if they'd eaten me or whatever. We all gotta go sometime, right? So I was laying there, staring at those knives pointing at me, when fate rolled the dice and I hit the jackpot. Irbeth, she was there storming into the cave. Picture it, I'm lying on an altar with all these knife-wielding maniacs around me, and suddenly Irbeth storms in. I thought it was Imelda herself. Fierce in her shining armor, with her gleaming sword raised. She made quick work of those scumbags, chopped them out just like that. I didn't even have time to blink. She untied me, and then she looked through the papers they had on the table, and she started swearing like a sailor. So much for Imelda. Almost becoming a human sacrifice, I knew I never wanted to leave Irbeth's side. Desmond knows I fell for her instantly, and I fell hard. My misery was gone, and when Irbeth showed me what was in those papers, proof that the cultists had nested in her home city, well, I offered the help with a second thought. She must have figured I couldn't wait to get my revenge on the cultists, but I didn't give a damn about them. It was her. I'd go anywhere with her, even on crusade, or into the jaws of a dragon. But I took to life and cameras like a duck to water. I used to be an outcast wherever I went, but half the Crusaders are the same. After all, who'd volunteer to tangle with demons on the edge of the abyss? You gotta be either a goody two-shoes with too much honor and free time, or a misfit with no life in the normal world with normal people. People come here to run away from their debts, their past, from themselves, so I fit right in. It's like living. Without her, I wouldn't be. Seriously, if I were alone, I'd definitely be gone by now. Sure, sometimes we argue, can't deny that. Sometimes we bang our fists on the table and yell so loud that the walls shake, but that's all about order business. But at home, well, I'll give you an example. I was willing to move out of that broom closet we call a house and it's somewhere cozier. It ain't like they take a vow of poverty at the Eagle Watch, but every month, somehow, most of our spare money is spent on Crusader business. Sure, I get mad about it, but it's part of why I love her so much. You know, Irbeth has that thing that matters most for a person, a purpose in life. She's always got a reason for whatever she's doing. Her whole life is a crusade, and I got drifted about like a leaf in the wind until Desna brought us together. Now she's the meaning of my life, so it really makes no difference if we live in a mansion or under a bush. Nothing special. I'm not even a knight, you know? I just hang around. You sure you want to know the details? Catching traitors and spies and cultists is no walk in the park. It's a delicate job. You can't always do it all with the letter of the law. What if we surprise some suspicious blighter on it with an official search? Everyone will know about it before long, starting with our cronies. Then again, sneaking into people's houses at night ain't exactly legal. Crusaders can't be doing stuff like that, can they? Well, I'm not exactly a knight. Sounds about right. Example clearly illustrates the difference between Gestuk legionnaires in the last war and the Crusaders. A form and spirit they were imbued with during creation turned them into parts of a well-balanced war machine, not a ragtag bunch of individuals, but a united whole. Now tell me again why I'm supposed to be impressed by your reckless assault where everyone is fighting for their ego and for the right to beat their peers to a swift, pointless heroic sacrifice. The other Crusaders grumble unhappily, but it's clear that they are captivated by the one's words. It is a scraggly, disabled halfling monk whose puffy black eyes gives him away as a brawler and a troublemaker. He enthusiastically pushes forward and tries to engage, but one of his friends swiftly jabs him in the back with an elbow, making the poor fellow pause, catch his breath. One of the Crusaders angrily curls his fist tightly and retorts with a burst of passion. Those gists of yours or whatever had come for us, we'd have their guts regardless. You think we've never fought a mighty adversary before? Soldier stern Azad cannot fully conceal his relish. He clearly plans to enjoy this confrontation. Let him look up their exotic weapons with a mixture of irritation and piqued interest. The woman chuckles before cutting off her interlocutor. What the fuck? Interlocutor. Cutor. I have never heard that word before. That's a first in a long time. What is that word? Fascinating. Hey, I learned a new word. Let's fucking go. That doesn't happen every day anymore. I would love to see you storm a 60-foot tall walking castle shaped like a gigantic elephant that carries siege fortifications on its back. And I'll have you know, these fortifications were defended by just priest craftsmen armed with demon-bound war machines. They use the enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. The woman gave the people around her a triumphant look and adjusts her hair with pointed nonchalant. Her voice takes on a lecture's tone. You should not argue with someone who happens to be the most authoritative researcher on the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. Eugen flashes at him and says, the lecture's over. Do my esteemed listeners have any questions? Soldier Crusader will cost you dearly! Nah, where are you? What is the last word you mentioned? You're wrong, Street Crusader, such disdain. Let me explain. Don't have time for a little chit-chat. Where are you? I am Indara, a warrior magus and a scholar of classical warfare from Garoon. Here's you up this side. I admit that I am mildly offended by the fact that my name is entirely unfamiliar to you, but I am willing to accept this is due to Evastan's isolation from the sophisticated culture of the world at large. Came a long way to be here. I like to think of myself as an inhabitant of Galorian, and I don't narrowly identify with any country in particular. Uh-huh. Why did you come here? To witness a legendary war, the confrontation between the citizens of a plane famous for its love of violence and the crusaders from every continent, united by a common goal of defending their home, an epic struggle with lust worship. That hasn't been particularly epic so far, truth be told. The black guy grins and mutters underneath, maybe she just can't see it from here. The view will get way more epic. She stops hiding amongst us and takes a walk outside. She does not deem the monk's words worthy of comment. Oh yes, then the situation we found ourselves in can attest to that. But then again, demons are no better. They prefer strategy also, as well as brute strength, mindless assault, and unfounded confidence in their superiority. Join the Crusades and show them how fighting should be done. What is this last war that you mentioned? You're wrong to treat the Crusaders as disdain. Allow me to explain. Last war of Justica, of course, a large-scale conflict that took place 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. It was a war against the Assyrian pharaoh of forgotten plagues, the war that ended the legendary Justica Imperium. Taking a bet here. An epic struggle that became the most vibrant page of military history. Alas, all conflicts that followed it were but a pale shadow, including the one I am witnessing here. Why don't you join the group? Why do you find the last words are so inspiring? Imagine legions of golems imbued with extraplanar spirits marching into battle. Imagine flying cities that swoop out of the clouds like terrifying monstrous birds of prey to drop forces on top of enemy castles. Picture gigantic mechanisms powered by captive and very angry demons and devils. Imagine standing in the warpath of walking citadels or having to cover your ears to block out the sound of cannons loaded with shrieking elementals. Not gonna lie, it sounds like hell. Just sounds like hell, honestly. Finally, imagine the ultimate weapon that defeated Justica, the deadly night plague. This affliction was an attack dog, a trained epidemic, a tame pestilence, striking only those who its master wanted to kill. Imagine all these terrors and understand that no flight or wolf fancy can even come close to the horror of the nightmares that they made real. You know so much about Justica last war. I can say without false modesty, there is no more authoritative research on Galorian when it comes to the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Absalom. I've dedicated my whole life to this subject. I personally visited old battlefields and studied the most mysterious forbidden archives containing chronicles of ancient wars, sometimes risking my life in the process. I saw a fallen sky city in the Shori Empire with my own eyes. I ripped out the control crystal from the Exterminator class combat golem that guarded the logistical laboratory with my own hands. These fingers held the glass flask that the servants of Pharaoh Forgotten Plagues used to create the first generation pestilence that devastated Imperium. How do I know so much? I saw and touched everything I am telling you about. Well, you're quite the storied individual, aren't you? You know, you could do a lot more than just lecture people. You could actually teach, instead of belittle, you know? If all of this is true. You're wrong, treat your sustain. No. I am a historian, an analyst, a theorist. Do you know that what these three words have in common? They describe a mortal woman who does not participate in the conflict upon which her thesis will be founded. But then again, I will hardly be able to describe this mess as anything other than a feeble likeness of the last war of Justica. If you like the last word Justica so much, why don't you marry it? The monk with a diminished eye grins slyly and comments, the more dangerous the upcoming scuffle is, the more motivated we are to find clever and pretty words to justify not actually doing the fighting. Woo! You're wrong, traitors are stealing. Oh, I'll be happy to prove that the current conflict can't hold a candle to the last war of Justica. Very well, last war of Justica was waged using a significantly greater number of troops. Both sides actively relied on reinforcements from allied planes, and their strategic planning was perfected through no fewer than 7 rounds of intensive design. None of the above applies to this war of yours. Compared to the Justica, we are but a stone club wielding kobolds. I would like to conclude that my thesis with a few words of wise counsel from Dagon, advisor of the Pharaoh Plagues. I doubt you will comprehend the true genius of his statement, but here it is nevertheless. A gadfly sees the ox pays no heed to the gadfly, but crimson fever takes them both. Oh boy. Diplomacy. The events of the past are shrouded in legend, but the fate of the world is being decided here and now. That is what you fail to grasp. Principle of war are always the same. Weapons, causes, resources may change, but the foundation remains immutable. Yeah, I failed. Hold up. Load no jutsu. I've already talked to you. Yeah. Let's see, what are my skills actually? So I have persuasion and knowledge world's kind of meh. So I'll try to roll a persuasion on this lady then. I'm not reading it all again. I am skipping. Really? When I have a +7. Aight. Bullshit. Sorry, I had something in my throat. Well then, if they're gonna be like that about it. Yup. Take that. Alright, come here, you. Honestly, this is the kind of person I can't stand talking to in real life just because they're so fucking uppity. And they love to just go on and on with way too many details of the same shit. So you could say that in so many less words, honestly. You pretentious, overly intellectual asshole. It's like, you don't need to flex your intelligence. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you need to show everybody how damn smart you are. There we go. Taste of those around you is taken away in Dara's panache, encouraging her to backtrack and stumble over words. Of course, I am not trying to diminish the importance of current events. What I am trying to say is that from the standpoint of history, and particularly the history of warfare on the unfriendly desert, the true importance of developments won't become obvious until later. Well, that's annoying. My headset went out for half a second. Don't like it when it does that. Offers a pretentious dismissal. As a scholar, I cannot deny that there is a certain truth behind your skeptical statements. History is a complex discipline, rooted in fact in an evidentiary base that grows ever more meager the farther the described period is from the present moment. Word salad. Love these kinds of people. It's like, yes. Keep using those humongously large words. Yes, keep trying to show how intelligent you are by flexing your thesaurus level of intellect. I love it. Yeah. Of course, if I were to argue in bad faith, the way Crusaders embellish their tales of slaying a single Primarch by adding a dozen Balors, for example, I could win this debate. But I am above such things, and therefore I am forced to admit that your skepticism is not entirely without merit. Ugh. I don't see the point. Your Crusaders appear to be quite confident in your skills. If nothing else, you presented your arguments to me with extreme confidence. Buckles her sword belt and hands you the weapon. This is a worthy blade. It will be of use not only for the strong, but also for the wise. Claw of Justica. And this is where I bid you farewell. Before the end of the day, I was planning to observe how winged demons use pack tactics to drive their prey like herds of livestock. It's about time I got back to my research. Stay safe. So I just got a sword apparently. Claw of Justica. Short sword, 3 to 13 damage, 1d6 plus 1 piercing plus 1d6 fire. This is a plus 1 flaming short sword. That's not bad actually. That's really not bad. That's actually quite a good weapon. At the moment, it's doing more than the rapier. I mean, it's doing more than Radiance. Oh, that's real cool, actually. Look at that flaming effect. I love it. It's nice. I would give it to myself, but I have rapier. I have a rapier bonus, honestly. Knock that shit off, stupid headset. Seriously. Okay, hold on. Do that to her real quick. Is it worth doing? So my damage does change a little, but my favorite weapon is still a rapier at the moment. Character. Weapons wielded by a war priest are changed with the power of the face. In addition, a favorite weapon of his deity, the war priest can designate a weapon and a sacred weapon by selecting that feat with a weapon focus feat. If he has multiple weapon focus feat, this ability applies to all of them. Whenever the war priest hits with a sacred weapon, it's based on his level and not the weapon type. The war priest can decide to use the weapon's base damage instead of the sacred weapon damage. The sacred priest is damage does not affect any other aspect of the weapon. It does not apply. So what happens if I? No, not that. Whoops. I meant to deselect, but oh well. 4 to 9, 1d6 plus 3. What happens if I select this? That's still the same. I really just don't know how much of a difference it's actually making on my damage, though. That's the main thing. Gains the ability to enhance one of the sacred weapons with the divine as a swift action. This power grants the weapon a +1 enhancement bonus for every 4 levels beyond 4. This bonus increases to 1 plus 2. If the war priest has more than one sacred weapon, when he can enhance another the following round by using another swift action. He uses his ability to number of rounds per day equal to his war priest level, but these rounds just need to not be consecutive. These bonuses stack with any existing bonus the weapon might have to a maximum +5. Can enhance a weapon with any of the following special abilities: Brilliant Energy, Flaming Frost, Keen and Shine. In addition, the War Priest is chaotic. If the War Priest is chaotic, he can add Anarchaic. If he is evil, he can add Unholy. If he is good, he can add Holy. If he is lawful, he can add Axiomatic. Adding any of these special abilities replaces an amount equal of bonus equal to the special bonus's abilities base cost. Duplicating abilities does not stack. The weapon must have at least +1 enhancement bonus to be okay. Neat. So I think for now, despite the fact that I have a weapon focused rapier, pretty sure wielding the club Justica is just better at the moment. Yeah, it's straight up better at the moment. What does he have? Masterwork short sword is secondary. Is this stealing? Doesn't look like it. Hello, who are you? Oh, you have a picture! He has a picture! That means he's important. Like a man greets you. His hair is prematurely gray and shorn close to his head in a military style. He is lean and well groomed, and a monocle twinkles coldly in his eye. The bold set of his jaw and his large but agile frame attest that here is a man who is always ready to be on the move. Greetings, I am Hilor, Venture Captain of the Pathfinder Society. So, superior officer among Pathfinders in this region of Mendev. However, the Society is running almost no operations here right now. Besides me, there are almost no Pathfinders here. Actually, I'm only stuck here because of an old feud with a demon worshipper known as the Spinner of Nightmares. Had to work alone without the support of the Society, but I've made a lot of acquaintances among the local mercenaries and daring fighters. If you need any good fighters for an honest cause, talk to me. Familiar confrontation with Spinner of Nightmares. I want to know more about you. I need brave and experienced fighters. My companions and I need good training. It all began with the task of Pathfinder said I arrived in Nerosin with my team to investigate the sudden death of a famous crusader, Baron Falron. We soon focused in on a small hospital for the wealthy, where Falron was being treated shortly before his death. It turned out that a gang of Bethmic cultists called themselves Labyrinth of Mind had gotten a foothold at the hospital. They were obsessed with twisting the minds of their victims and targeting fragile people too weak to resist. The hospital was filled with perfect victims, isolated for weeks from the outside world, completely helpless, and then when they returned, they were different, almost normal. But the moment they heard a certain phrase, something dark awoke in their minds that they transformed into the servants of Bethmet, ready to lie, betray, and even kill. Labyrinth of Mind was preparing to infiltrate all the elite circles of Mendev, but Baron Falron stopped them. He was too loyal to his oath and too resistant to their spells. He fought for his freedom until the strain broke his heart. We opened and cleaned the city of Bethlehem, pit of vipers. Their den was a cradle of sin and filth. They cast spells on each other, and their loathsome fantasies stepped real from their minds into the world. They dreamt of horrible and forbidden things, and they fought like mad. We burned the place to the ground and slaughtered everyone we could, but the leaders of the cult were able to flee, and they were set upon revenge. They abducted my daughter Lori, who served under my command at the Pathfinder Society. They left me a note full of tart insults, mockery, and sneers. From that note, I learned that the name of my enemy, the Spinner of Nightmares. A few months later, I confirmed that she was the leader of the Labyrinth of Mind. My hunt had begun. I would get Lori back at the cost. Here's teeth with bullet returning. Exactly are you interested in? I'm a common Pathfinder. There are many others like me. Fate and my order brought me to this land. How did you end up here? Lurking at the side of the Pathfinder, then a demon worshipper named Spinner of my daughter Lori. For the rest of years, I've been trying to save her. During this time, I've become a specialist in scouting demon territory. I even planted agents among the cultists. Truth be told, in pursuing the Spinner of Nightmares, I've been acting more on behalf of Queen Galfrey than the Pathfinder Society. It's a long story. Maybe I'll tell you the rest of it in time. Spinner of Nightmares is a true spawn of the Abyss. I've fought her many times, but I've never been able to seize her by the throat. As a girl, Lori was just an angel. We lost her mother early on. Sheila was left to follow my example, a drifter with little idea how to talk to a 10-year-old girl, but even such questionable parenting, Lori managed to grow into a wonderful girl, brave, smart, beautiful, and entirely unbearable. She's always arguing with me about everything. When Lori was 18 and told me she was going to be a Pathfinder, all I said was, alright. I knew there was no use to try and talk her out of it, and she was a fine Pathfinder. I've never forgive the Spinner of Nightmares for taking my girl from me. Pathfinder Society is a global organization that unites opportunities and ventures of all kinds. We explore the world and uncover its secrets, travel, and sometimes face down threats. In times of trouble, the latter become our primary focus. We're driven by curiosity and desire to make the world a better place, and of course, some seek profit or hunger for glory. But in any case, it's hard work. They might send you anywhere on a mission. Weaklings have little place in the society. It's more for seasoned fighters. There are society lodges in many cities. The closest one is in Nerosin. They're each led by venture captains like lads like me. Not capitalists, captains. Whoops. The Grand Lodge is in Absalom, the center of the world. The Decemvirate sits there, the anonymous council of our leaders. Oh, wow. You'll have to pay them 4,500 this January. Damn, that's expensive. I will get a great mentor from Absalom for a free chance. He'll train your fighters free of charge. What are we? Oh, retrain. Oh, retrain. Okay. That's who we go to. Okay. Save once more, because I've been spending a lot of time in here. Don't want to have to click through shit again. Hey there, during that march through the dungeon, we never got the chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's high time I shake your hand. I'd like to know more about you. Irva said your friend Jana Alores was. Do you know where she would look for her? What do you think of what's going on in Kirin? Is fighting demons all you want, or are you looking for something more? I think we should get our ways. Better look for a new commander. I think you're speaking truth. I'd like to know more about you. Of course, ask anything. I'll answer honestly. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? What made you become Paladin of Mimode? What are the principles a Paladin of Mimode follow? I'm a little bit from Geb, a little bit from Kedapresh, but mostly for the Knights of Mode. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to the ranks more than I belong to any other place. You've come to Mindev by a long road, haven't you? What made you become a very long one, sir. See, looks at you cheerfully. A traveler is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I have only 3 tales of any interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show you for myself when it's time to start bragging. And that just won't do, especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of a battle with chupacabras. Chupacabras fascinating. Can't they drink their victims' blood during combat and then gain their strength? Can't tempt me with a story about fighting chupacabras and then not follow through. What are chupacabras, by the way? Isn't your attitude toward life and war too carefree, especially for a paladin? Oh yes, and they do it very quickly. They bite one victim, suck out their blood, and then they strike their next victim quick as lightning. But now you've tricked me, and I started telling the tale, as I may as well do it properly. Picture a small town in Kadira, and down into the dungeon there are 2 murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them. The rope's been brought, but sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly, a Paladin Mundo appears in the doorway and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with her to fight some monsters, they live. If they survive, that is. It's a big difference between imminent death and probable death with a glimmer of hope, wouldn't you say? So here we are, traveling through the desert, me and my friend, a priestess of Serenre, along with little rat folk fellow who'd asked for our help, and the 2 cutthroats. We get to the rat folk village and saw their bodies lying around, all drained dry. We figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how the little rat folk described the monster who attacked their village. That's why we went in all brazen-like. The sun was high and the vampires couldn't attack until dusk. But we never got a chance to look around. Black shadows, quick as the wind, attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, chupacabras. One of the lads we pulled from the gallows got killed right away. The second one ran for his life. That left me, the rat folk, and Kyra, that was the name of the priestess, and we all steeled ourselves for the fight of our lives. And just when we thought the end had come, with the chupacabras surrounding me like a pack of dogs, around a bear, and our rat folk frowned, wounded and down, and the teeth of the quicks of those blasted monsters were clenched on Carrie's shoulder. Right then, when all hope was lost, the other lad from the gallows suddenly came running back. He kills the beast attacking her out. I'm sure you know what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before we were lost, and a moment later we had it back under control. Chupacabras dropped dead one by one. Little rat folk was reunited with his family. We were hiding in the basement. The priestess and I closed the eyes of that boy from the gallows who saved us. It's a shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul in his journey through the aftermath. It's a good story. He could have died in disgrace on the gallows, but instead he died a hero. Expect a more cheerful story. And now I'm sad. Your savior was a fool. You could have easily fled. That's a good story. He could have died in disgrace on the gallows, but instead he died a hero. And I'd fancy the stunt earned him some points at his final judgment. It's smart to remember our journey doesn't end in death. Had it not been for that mercy, Milos, that was his name, would be hanging from a noose. And me, Kyra, and all that rat folk would be dead in that village. Someone told me that a kind deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious. By the time token, evil done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. That's what I really wanted to say. The chupacabras were just a good starting point. What made you become a Paladin of Mode? That's a serious question, a good one. You should ask it of your companions, but it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago, I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed the streets of Sloku with the other homeless orphans. I stole, I fought, I was a hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origin for a paladin, is it? Hey. Almost anyone could be a paladin so long as you find your faith. That's, you find your faith and you swear it, and you stick to it. Back then, Solku was a city of orphans, windows, and widowers. Gnolls decimated the city regularly. My parents were among their victims. People there heard about new deaths
before they'd finished mourning their previous losses. One day, a group of knights of Mode brought a glimmer of hope to the city, but while others saw them as saviors and protectors, I was busy pricing up their noble horses and their gleaming mithril armor, wondering just how much one of their pretty swords would fetch. Thief lives one day at a time, that's what they say. I was the type that never thought past the next job. Anywho, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of their mithril helms. I was right there when Anul attacked the helm's owner. Asemi was her name, and I dealt a blow to her unprotected head. Anul, like all the others, she'd fearlessly driven from the gates of Silco. That one blow was fatal, but who really was to blame for her death? Anul attack her, or the young thief named Sela? I know what it takes to survive sometimes. I can't judge you. Lawful. Even a seemingly small misdeed can have terrible consequences. Chaotic. Life is cruel and full of chaos. Sometimes survival just comes down to luck. You couldn't have known the consequences of your actions. Well, I'm going towards good guy, so lawful. Yes, you're right 1,000 times over. I hate to say it, but I just didn't see it back then. And if I had never got that lesson, my eyes would probably never have been opened. Who knows what would have happened to me if it wasn't for Asemi and her bravery and her death. Maybe the world would know Sela as a bandit, not as a knight and protector of those in need. There's a saying I like to remember. People rarely find redemption on their own. Someone must show them the way. You're asking what brought me into the ranks of Emode's warriors. We all chose the paladin's path for our own reasons. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by desire to fight injustice. I became who I am through penance and a debt unpaid. The day Asemi died protecting my city, I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt, but then I realized it wouldn't make the world any better, and I decided that instead I'd try to take her place. I became who she had been and protect the innocence that she would no longer be able to protect. That's very noble. I'll tell you, I like to recite our code. It feels like I've said it 1,000 times, but it never gets old. There is strength in these words. Change her voice low and measured. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. With my strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender those under my command. I will never abandon a companion, though I will honor sacrifice freely given. I will guard the honors of my fellows, both thought and deed, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give honor to worthy enemies and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will I will be temperate in my actions, moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Emode's perfection. Very nice. Worried about our fighters. I understand that I wanted to look for Jenna myself, so I didn't distract you, but since you're in this too, I could use some help. Jenna and I met in Canterbury a few days ago and just hit it off. We went drinking together, we went to that unforgettable celebration together too, but we got separated in the crowd, so we should start looking for the main square. That's where I last saw her. Jenna's a good fighter, even if she's green. She couldn't have become an authority otherwise. I hope that means she's alright. What do you think of what's going on in Canterbury? Friend needs a friend indeed, no doubt. It's complete chaos. It's lucky we're here to handle it, right? Then she gives you her look. Does the way I talk bother you? I know I can seem blasé. Many good people in our protector, Terendalev, died here in Harvest. The paladin of Imade is expected to be properly respectful and solemn. But I prefer to face my troubles with a smile and a bit of common sense. Grief is a weapon they'll use against you. I can understand a warrior's spirit. It's better we both hold off on grief until we've driven the last demon from our city. If we went to win, we can't be mourning our deceased day and night. Plus, joy heals the soul. There's wisdom in the traditions of mourning, and one shouldn't reject them, all the more so if an inappropriate merriment could offend other mourners. Many people's loved ones perished in Canavras. I like both. This is more personally me. It's nice when you and your commander think alike.
How about covering myself in glory and becoming a hero of 100 ballads, or at least a dozen if there are lively ones? Anyway, to be more serious, the area around the World Wound is the best place for a paladin who wishes to defend the weak and serve the good. Being part of the crusade is reward enough for me, but there's something that worries me. I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing my brother's Zion, but the Eagle Watch and the other orders are focused on just one aim, the war against the World Wound. That's why they can sometimes overlook the smaller things, ordinary misfortunes, you know. I always liked being a wandering knight because any moment I could get up and go help a poor rat folk whose family had been kidnapped, or an old woman whose favorite dog had gone missing. So here's my answer. I don't have some big important goal, but I'll be happy to help those who need it, a little bit here and there. Nice. Probably gonna finish talking to a handful more people in here, and then I'll probably stop playing for a bit. How's the city? What is our main objective? Heard what the demon said. They're going to desecrate the world, swindle up the whole. Final law teams also enemy within to maintain the purity of the paladin ranks, prevent heresy, and to devise spies. It failed miserably at that. The Templars of every Evalarmouth infiltrated and formed Queen entrusted me with leading the order. Nivi and I practically built it from scratch. We got rid of dead weight, people who weren't committed. We organized ways to transmit messages and orders safely. We introduced reliable ciphers. We found tested allies around the city, from Crusaders' orders to meet straight beggars. This is why my personal crusade to purge the city of the Templars who had infested it, and I thought I was winning. I could feel it. We were so close to driving cultists out of Converse, but it's hard to admit, but those successes didn't count for much once the demons entered the city. If it wasn't for you, there wouldn't be a headquarters at Defender's Heart. The cultists would have served up the city on a platter to the demons. Exactly. Intrigue and spying mean nothing when it comes down to honest fighting. Success? When we got up to the surface, there were more cultists in the city than Crusaders. What exactly was your order doing? Nah, I'm gonna say that. Lines of earbus forwards often. Yes, that's true. It's a good thing we achieved something. Thank you. Please, but I must warn you, there are some things I don't have the right to discuss. I was born in Canabras. I grew up on a farm just outside of it. But my way back home lay at the end of the long and winding road. It took me years of traveling through foreign lands before I came to where I've always belonged. How did you become a paladin? I don't much like to remember it, believe it or not. The story of how I became a paladin is also the story of how I failed to become a knight. My parents were crusaders, and their souls stand together in a Mode's celestial army. When I was born, they retired from the war and started preparing me to continue their legacy. My father was an orc. You'd be pressed to find a calmer, wiser, more pious servant of the gods than he. But still, all his life, he was dogged by sideways looks and whispers. When I grew older and it was time for me to serve, I decided anywhere but Canabras. That was where my father had served loyally, and his only reward had been injustice. Besides, the witch hunters, led by the Honorable Prelate Hulrun, stalked the city with a heavy hand. Who knows what they'd have done to a strange girl with green skin. Instead, I went to... looks more like a painful grimace than a crushed face. You can laugh if you want, but I was young and foolish. I chose Lastwall of all places. You can imagine how well I was accepted in a current tree that's been battling the orcs of fell skins since foundation. There were many there like me, but we were all treated as second-class citizens. To the locals, my green skin was worse than leper scabs. Even my brothers in faith kept their distance. I took my vows, and the goddess granted me the powers of a paladin. But even then, not a single order would accept me into their ranks. I spent another 6 months knocking on doors before I realized some truth. I serve a Bode, not these people. I don't have to prostrate myself before them, so I left as a paladin, but not a knight. In your human form, there's nothing about you that stands out, but in your fox form, do you often have to hide your true nature? I won't lie, I can't even imagine what your life must be like. Interesting. That's very well said. Very respectful, and didn't say anything bad. Or that could be seen as bad in my opinion. Well written. Good job. Left Lastwell and went traveling. The goddess guided me, and my path led me to where atrocities were happening. I often fought in exchange for gold, but never for unworthy aims. Of course, I wandered the river kingdoms for a few years, killing monsters and tracking down criminals. Sometimes I thought I was just wasting time, that my true place was in Canabras. But I pushed those thoughts away. I didn't even want to think about going back. But in the end, divine providence had brought me to my senses.
Happened in Taimon. I was tracking a gang of bandits with my employer suspected was a cover for Rasmiran spies. I managed to find their lair, but inside I found something far more dangerous than spies, an unholy temple to Zankuthan. When I broke in there, the cultists were about to sacrifice someone. The person who was to become my wife, Anivia, but that's another story. After I cut down the cultists, I examined their papers, and I couldn't believe my eyes. A network of evil cults had spread through all of Avestan, including Mendev. Worse, the documents clearly showed that their allies, the Temple of the Ivory Labyrinth, had infested my native Canabras and were even among the ranks of the Paladins. After that, delaying my homecoming would be tantamount to desertion. Luckily, I was no longer alone. Anevia was so eager to destroy the cultists as I was. Nevi and I hurried to Canabras. We couldn't trust anyone. The papers indicated the cultists had infiltrated everything. Luckily, I had some experience in investigation, and my beloved half-orc smiles warmly. She knew her way around working locks, tailing people, and trailing information with the city's bottom feeders. Soon, we defeated, not the whole Hydra, but a few of its heads. Do you know who turned out to be the leader of the cultists? The commander of the Eagle Watch. Can you imagine? While Prelate Horn was chasing witches around the city, the enemy had infiltrated the very order responsible for internal security. Scandal reached the ears of the Queen. At first, she planned to disband the order in disgrace, but then she offered its command to me and put its salvation in my hands. Of course, there was one small catch. I wasn't a knight, but I was made commander just the same, skipping the usual progression through the ranks. I can't imagine the followers of Zolkuthan in alliance with demon worshippers. Shouldn't they hate each other? They should, but Baphomet minions are masters of deception. They manipulate Zonkuthan's butchers as eagerly as Emode's knights. The cultists from that unholy temple didn't know the true face of their associates in Canabras. We ourselves learned the truth much later, after getting to the bottom of their nest. You tolerated it surprisingly well. I shouldn't have been so wary. Crusaders don't tend to be prejudiced as a rule. After all, heroes from all over the world, even from other continents, come here to fight the demons. Apparently, the people were only suspicious of full-blooded orcs. There were already many like me here, and we don't have any problems. The locals do have their superstitions. Mendev is as merciless as Lustwall. They just have a different set of victims. I kept seeing those same sideways looks and scowls, hearing the familiar whispers, but where once they used to whisper behind my back and point at me, now they whisper in my ear and point at someone else. It's so strange, to be on the other side of humiliation, to wipe the spit from your face, to suddenly be invited to change position and spit at someone else. You must have figured out by now that I'm talking about tieflings. It's true that there are many of them among the cultists, and few among our crusaders, and our fighters do all they can to drive away those who would be our allies. People shun them, call them a Relu spawn, or worse, as if they chose to be born like that. I believe it's quite a feat to rise against the call of one's blood and join the forces of good. Still, most only see them as the enemy. I once saw a knight bleeding to death because he wouldn't let a tiefling priest touch his wound. Alas, I haven't been able to change this in all my time in Canabras. We met in Taiwan. I was wandering aimlessly from one ordeal to another. We returned to Canabras together to expose the Templars everywhere. One, the day the Queen knighted me was the second I was to the first was the day of our wedding. But Anevia isn't just my beloved, she's my staunchest ally. We share every victory and defeat. The best of me is alive thanks to her. Thanks you for saving her back then, the day Canabras fell. Before her return, the only thing giving me the strength to protect the Defender's heart was the hope that I'd see her again. We are in your debt. Thank you. Go, may Amode keep you safe. Nice. Human form. Kitsune form. So, old man with a fuzzy gray beard mumbles a prayer. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tower, but determined to stand and determination is stamped upon his haggard face. What can I do for you? Showing scrolls sling. Who are you? Who is the boy with you? Who are you? Rector of the local temple of Abadar. The temple is gone, although
though, and if we snooze here for much longer, she'll be lost as well. Who's that boy with you? This one? Kyoto the shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy and his faith is strong. He serves Era still, though, but there's still something he can learn from an old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. First, I sell scrolls. I have a lot of them, something for every emergency. Second, while you're here in the tavern, I can read one for you. Guaranteed, no surprises. But you'd better not go into the city without a cleric. I won't be going there myself. I'm too old and my powers are needed there. Need here. Scroll of Blessed Weapon, Scroll of Shield, Scroll of Protection from Evil, Scroll of Summon Monster 1. Monster 1 sucks, by the way. Scroll of Magic Missile, Scroll of Protection from Chaos Communal, Scroll of Burning Arc, Scroll of Create Pit. Great Pit. Create an extra dimensional hole with a depth of 10 feet per 2 cache levels. Since the pit extends in another dimension, the pit has no weight and does not otherwise displace the original underlying materials. You can create the pit in the deck of a ship as easily as in the dungeon of the floor on the ground of the forest. Enlarge a smaller creature standing in the area where you first conjure the pit must make a reflex saving throw to jump to safety in the nearest open space. In addition, the edges of the pit are sloped, and any creature ending its turn on a square adjacent to the pit must make a reflex save throw with a +2 bonus to avoid falling into it. Creatures subject to an effect intended to push them into the pit, such as a bull rush, do not get a saving throw to avoid falling if they are affected by the pushing effort. Creatures who fall into the pit take as falling damage as normal, 1d6 bludgeoning damage per 10 feet. To climb the pit's course, stone walls must make it when the duration of the spell ends. Creature within the hole rise up in the bottom of the pit until they are standing on the surface of the course front. That's a nice spell. Restore a life to a deceased party member. Raised creature has a number of hit points equal to its raised dead. Also removes the death's door condition. Coming back from the dead is an ordeal. The subject of the spell gains 2 permanent negative levels when it is raised, just as if it had been hit by an energy-draining creature, though it cannot gain a number of negative levels equal to a greater hit dice this way. Creature whose permanent negative levels already equal with its hit dice cannot be brought back to life through the raised dead spell. They're wearing an armor bonus +2, just as though they're wearing armor, and a +3 combat bonus on all larger arcana checks. Those are pretty good, honestly. Grants this weird the ability to make up to 3 spells they cast per day, extended as though using extended spell feat. Lesser rods can be used with spells of 3rd level or lower. Spell lasts twice as long. Okay. Neat. Icy Protector. Grain grants the wearer cold resistance 10. If the wearer has the Ice Plant Hex, it also grants the +2 natural bonus to. Ooh, that's nice. Guardian of Life. As long as the wearer of the same is under the effect of the Death Ward spell, they gain a +2 morale bonus to AC against the attacks of the undead creatures. If they use any single target Cure Wounds spell on a target whose current HP is 0 or less, the target is healed for an additional number. Oh, that's neat. Must keep scrolling. There's so much he can sell. Actually insane. He sells so much shit. Look at this shit. He sells so much stuff. So much stuff, honestly. Can I sort by masterwork? No. Master. No. Yeah, well. Here for a chat, I've been waiting for you to come and see what strange beasts you've taken into your party. I'd like to know more about you. Tell me about your people. What do you think of life on the surface? Must be very different from life underground. don't think you belong in my party. Thank you for your answers so long. I want to know more about you. Let me guess. Your first question is, can you wear a hat with one horn? Am I right? Speak common much better than the rest of your tribe. Mongrels have short lifespans. You don't look like you're getting old or dying. How old are you? We'll talk about one Wong. So can you hear a hat with one horn? Sure I can, but certain designs don't suit me too well. Hey, you're the one who brought it up. I had to. Common isn't all that common underground, but your observation is correct. I used to live on the surface with my parents for a while, and I had a chance to learn a couple of things. The language and the fact that every peasant who sees my scaly bug screams demon runs away. I don't know if you're interested, but my mom wasn't from an underground tribe. She was a smuggler, the kind that uses the dungeons of Canabros to secretly move and store goods. One time, two gangs couldn't agree on how to share a prime cut, got into a fight, and the winners threw the losers down a hole, dead and living alike. My dad went to check if the corpse had anything useful on them, and he found a girl from the surface, barely clinging to life. An incredible feeling sparked between them, or maybe the girl just liked men with scales and a cat nose. That might be it. One way or another, he got her back on her feet, and he later even left his home caves. She left her smuggling behind, they began an honest life together. That's the delightful story of how land came into this world. The next chapter over, my family and I never stayed in one place for long. We lived sometimes on the surface, sometimes underground. We couldn't find a place to call home. Living in the caves was hard on my mom, and my dad's appearance raised too many questions in Mendev. They're at war against the demons after all. In the end, my parents decided to stop making each other miserable and separated. My father and I returned to our tribe. I think the peasant screaming demon had something to do with it. Or maybe Dad just couldn't stand life without rat tail soup. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. No, that wasn't it. I just don't have much patience for certain types of creatures. Demons, I mean. If they want to destroy Canabras, I'll be on the side of the people they're attacking. You're my companion, and companions should trust each other. I'm counting on you to give me honest answers, not excuses.
I don't like it when my subordinates hide things from me.
I guess you're right. I shouldn't have been so evasive. It's just that some things are hard to talk about. My family, for example. My birth, hell, take me. Turned out to be a great misfortune for my parents, all because I'm relatively healthy. I'm the best thing that can come from marriage between a cave-dwelling mongrel and anyone from the surface. A healthy child with the right number of hands and feet, no apparent defects, no missing organs, or other problems. They saw hope in me, so risk having more children. They thought it would somehow be alright. I could have had 4 brothers. The first was born 2 years after me and died 3 years later. He didn't have a nose, nothing even remotely resembling one. He could only breathe through his mouth. Mom and Dad were afraid to take their eyes off him for fear he'd choke and suffocate on something, but in the end it was his weak heart that killed him. Then there was another pregnancy and birth, and I pretended I was sleeping, but snuck out of my bedroom and listened under the door. All those hours, it was very strange, but I never heard the newborn screaming. Mom moaning, yes. The priest praying. Then I dared to open the door a little and looked inside. The priest stood there very pale. One of them was holding something, a small object that fit in his palm. He asked, do you know what this is? And the other said, I think it's a head. Turned out that this time Mom was expecting triplets. The first of the babies was born in pieces and the 2 others didn't live long enough to draw their first breath. About 3 weeks later, my father took me to the caves. He didn't want to leave. I could see it in his face, but I think my mom and he decided it together. The curse my people have carried since the first crusade stood between them, not to mention the 4 dead babies, and old age was rapidly taking its toll on my father. At the cave, he only lived another 4 years. So if you're asking me why I decided to go up with you to the surface joint stairs, well, the answer is I always wanted to. I was afraid to leave my tribe, but it always haunted me that I'd die in a world where 4 crusades could do nothing to stop the beast from the abyss, and the number of victims kept growing. I want to change that, or at least try to. If changing things is too much to ask, then at least get a little revenge. The ones who are behind the world's wound owe me a great debt. The lives of 4 brothers, all my mother's tears, my father's broken heart, it's a lot. It's so much that killing a couple of demons won't do it for me. I want to do something real, and I'm ready to pay any price. Call it my personal crusade if you like. I used to think that things would be better if I'd never been born, but now I think I was born for this, to settle the score. Damn. That's some fucked up shit right there. Nightmare fuel. I'd like to find your mother. I'm very sorry, truly. Your parents loved you. Love didn't survive hardship, but that doesn't mean the same thing will happen to you.
Just couldn't abandon my tribe. I'm their best hunter. They'll have it much harder without me, but now that the demons have nearly destroyed Kremis and the caves almost collapsed on our heads, sitting and waiting now just wasn't an option anymore. Anyway, I'm more useful up here than I am down there. Plus, the chief let me go, which means my debt to the tribe has been paid. You like to find your mother? No. Then I promise you, I don't want to meet her. Not because I feel any resentment, it's just that she's a half-elf. She's barely got her first gray hair, and I'll be a ramshackle old man. She's buried enough children. There's no need to make her witness the death of no one. I hope you understand. Well, then I'm just very lucky. I met someone who not only helped me choose the right path, but is happily listening to my whining. And break my beloved's heart when I die in her arms 5 years later? What do you find? What if you try and choose? That's a fine thing to do to the person you love. Then again, there's a chance I'll inspire some tragic bard to write a tearful ballad. Thanks for listening. I'm as old as I look, no surprise there, but remember Sol? He's 10 years older than me. I remember him back when he was a fearless warrior, and day by day I watched him turn into old man. Him and my father. Happens very quickly. First you miss a shot because you don't see the target as clearly as you used to. You think it's because your eyes are tired. You tell yourself it'll get better tomorrow. Then you notice you're having trouble breathing, that climbing is harder than before. Your fingers stop bending. You have to tie your sword to your hand. You can't even put on your greaves without help. When you're washing your face in a stream, sometimes you catch sight of a gray-haired, wrinkled old man you don't recognize, and this goes on until one day you come across a cave beast and you realize you cannot run it. My dad kept diaries making all the signs and I saw it too. Last year I had to help him get out of bed and help him dress, remind him to eat. Sometimes he forgot my name. I told him that we should have stayed on the surface, and he joked that dodging a goddess was behavior unworthy of a crusader. He meant Pharasma. Every morning I woke up and checked how I feel, but there are no signs yet. Even so, I know I don't have much time. I need to do something useful before I forget why I came here. Oof. I mean, where do I start? We grew up together, trained together. She was the chief's daughter. She was groomed to be the best all her life, and when I came along, we were rivals. But we dragged each other out of the tight spots too. I've always been drawn to grand heroic gestures, sometimes idiotic ones, whereas Window liked to roam unexplored passages, finding new caves, and making maps. She wanted to be a great huntress, the one who'd make it through the shield maze, but instead it's better if she died. The death of a friend is painful, but watching a friend become a shadow for myself is unbearable. Of course, she thinks she did everything right, because the second she starts to doubt herself, she'll have to face the truth, to admit that she's just a cannibal that demons use as they wish. She wants to get stronger and stronger, but for what? I'll never understand what drives her. You really don't pull your punches, do you? There was a time when I asked myself the same question. We knew me better than anyone. She understood me better than anyone. She was the first girl I ever, but we never loved each other. Maybe I could have grown to love her, but it always seemed like she never understood what love was. Maybe she just wasn't capable of those kinds of feelings. You ever want to reopen it? Okay, sure thing. Tell me about your people. Of course, when you no, what's it like living in your caves? Oh, language of her broad smile. Smile is strange, as if it faltered where humans' features met as animals. Imagine that in the entire world, there's only a few hundred like you. There's not an inch of fertile ground anywhere, nowhere to grow grain or for bread, or cotton and linen for cloth. Your neighbors are beasts who want to eat you, or parasites who want to infect you with their larvae and then eat you. It's not that bad, because you can try to eat most of the things that are trying to eat you, sometimes with the risk of getting poisoned, sometimes with almost no risk at all. In the worst years, there's not a single living thing anywhere to be found, predator or prey. That's when you eat mushroom soup. I'd say 3 times a day, but there was barely enough for once every 3 days. But life underground has its upsides, pun intended. There's no risk of losing the roof over your head, there's no bad weather, no counting the earthquakes, okay. Of course, no, not counting the earthquakes, of course. We're like demon spawn, aren't we? Sad but true. Without the demons, there would be no mongrels. It's the magic of the world wound that affected our ancestors and made our children the way we are. Like most of our tribe, Chief Soul fancied himself descendant of the underground crusaders, the ones our heroic ancestors left to guard the caves. I don't know if it's true or not. The angel came to our caves for a reason. Maybe he remembered us. Those were evil and dangerous times after the First Crusade. Hundreds of Crusaders began having children, and the babies were born with fangs and horns and warts that covered half their face. People didn't like the new look, the Inquisitors sure didn't, so our ancestors fled persecution and made a home for themselves down there, under the ground. They probably intended to find a cure for their children and hoped to return in time, but it never happened. Instead, the World Wound's terrible legacy was passed down from generation to generation. Mongrel parents can only guess that what their child will look like. Each of us is born with a new mutation. Many mutations are fatal. Down in the caves, we usually don't congratulate the family for the birth of a child until they turn at least 3. Most don't even get a name before that. There's no point. Ugh. Fucking hell. Lives are much shorter than most uplanders up here. Only a few generations passed, and many still live who remember old Sarkoris, as it stood untouched by the demons. Queen Gallifrey, for example. But where we live, mongrels start getting old much earlier than humans, much faster, and with more devastating consequences. Few live past 40, and fewer still live long enough to die of old age. Hunger, disease, and monsters from the deep are more effective killers than time. So for us, the story of the Crusade is a legend that happened generations ago. There are no living witnesses. We have a tale of the wise and great ancestors who left us to stand guard in the catacombs. But in reality, I suspect that we were desperate wretches who couldn't figure out how to dispel the demonic plague and who were abandoned by their own kind. That sounds almost resentful. Do you have a way to tell day and night? Every mongrel settlement has a big gong, which we treat like a relic. The gong keeper hits it twice a day to mark the beginning and end, but this custom doesn't keep time very precisely. Every mongrel child has snuck up to the gong to strike it at the wrong time at least once, but just out of pure mischief. Nothing could keep me away from it, not even the fact that I only have one ear, which means it would take double the punishment once I was caught. So sometimes the wrong strike gets mixed in with the right one, so the tribe can... Stop doing that! Stop it, you stupid headset. Why is it doing that? There were some skirmishers, and I've been forced to kill my kinfolk before too. Fights most often break out over food. We have laws in the caves, written and unwritten rules that we follow. We respect one another's right to live, but hunger, it can push a person over the edge. I've never, you can count on that, stolen someone else's kill, but I can understand those of my kin who tried. To hear your kids begging for food and not be able to feed them is terrifying. Because all of Galorian calls us that? I don't see the point of all of us hemming and hawing over that what we're called. Anyone who finds it offensive or takes issue with it can lead the charge against the name. No one's stopping them, but personally, I'm not going to pick a fight over something as unimportant as a name. Huh. I actually can respect that. What do you think of the life on the person from life on the job? Of course, as far as living conditions, the surface is definitely a better place to live. It's easier to get good food and water, not to mention build a house and even grow a few things. In older, well-established settlements, you don't have to deal with anything scarier than rats or maybe foxes stealing chickens. As for the kind of lives you live, I heard a story about demon worshippers abducting a whole family and sacrificing them one by one while others watched. But there were some Crusader knights nearby, and they killed the villain and saved everyone. I heard another story. A young blacksmith lost his arm in a fire, couldn't work to feed his wife and baby. Tried their best and lived from hand to mouth, but they were still destitute. In the end, the desperate blacksmith robbed a traveler one night on the road, but there were some brave Crusader knights nearby, and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. Not long later, his wife smothered their baby and hanged herself. What the fuck? Here, the same person can proudly say he's protecting the innocent from demons, and then look the other way while some innocent starves just because they were born to a poor family. Queen Gallifrey prolongs her life with sun orchid elixirs that cost enough to feed an entire city. But back in our case, everyone is equally poor, and if one person starves, the whole tribe starves. We don't abandon our own in times of trouble. That's the power of the tribe. The laws of the surface are made so that some get everything and others get nothing. I might just be a naive fool from the caves, but I don't understand how it's possible to have so much more and share so much less. Well, when you grow up in a society where literally everybody has to do everything for everyone, or else they're all just gonna fucking keel over and die as a whole, and then you move into a system with classes and separations of labor, and where certain groups do certain things, yeah, it's gonna look different. Just cultural differences. Look who I'm talking to. You must know life on the surface much better than I do. I'd never leave a needy person in trouble. I've been given more than most, which means I'm now more able to help others. Lawful. We're in a struggle for a very survival against the abyss. This is no time to upend society in a quest for fairness. Oh yes, I also have a few questions for our feckless aristocracy. Evil. Stop whining. I clawed my own way up, and anyone who can't do the same is just lazy or weak. All the evil options are like so comedically evil. Like they're so over the top. Like they're just like angst and edge, and it's hilarious. It's funny. I have to agree with the lawful one though. This is hardly a time to do that. Do you think if the world wouldn't have happened, the surface would have already changed for the better? I'm not so sure. I'm not even sure my kinfolk wouldn't find their ways to inventing their own aristocracy if they ever got their hands on anything valuable enough to divide it fairly. What's the point of being prince of all caves, holes, and gorges if your only throne is a boulder and your only crown is made of rat skulls? Don't argue economy and social politics with me, Lan. I don't wanna. To invent a new salad and have it named after me. Truth be told, I don't know. It would be much easier if all I really wanted was to kill demons, then a few more demons, then more demons after that. Good, honest rage and no needless brooding. I think I actually envy the warriors who can live like that. But I can't. If life's taught me anything, it's there's no easy choices. Dying a glorious death isn't enough. Some heroes of the Crusades did that and also saved entire settlements, erected into wardstones. Their actions kept the land of Mendes safe for decades. That's what I want for my dumb, short life to have meant something. I think I have exaggerated opinions of myself. Some scaly freak crawls out of the caves and wants to take control of the wardstone to flaunt Emode's banner. Any fool can charge at the front lines of the demonic armies and die there. And what good will that do? I want something meaningful, you know? Even if I have to pay the highest price, especially if I have to pay it. There are plenty of worthier people who need to survive this war and tell everyone else what nutcases we were. Thank you for your answers. I can't say like his actions don't make sense or his actions aren't like in character either. I just don't agree with everything he says, and I think he has far too also short an opinion of himself, if anything. But hey, that's completely understandable. Why is your name? You have a name called Pink Eye? What the heck? Go. Hey, me. Come over here and talk to this person. Pink Eye. Pink Eye. Pink Eye. I can't talk to Pink Eye. Okay, fine. I wanted to talk to Pink Eye. Didn't notice that until now. I guess I can see what's in the cellar, maybe.
there's something interesting. Like rats to kill. Cutscene. Got you again. How many times is that today? Takes your jokes, shove 'em, tiefling! Whoa, he's there, chief. Don't hit me. Now I'm curious about this person. Don't mind me just looting all your supplies. Look, I'm a main character. I need them more than you. Promise. No, I'll give them back in a bit. Well, I don't even know what that did. The fuck? That did something. Button won't judge. Wait, what? What is it? What are these doing? Something moved. Oh, did this open? Or was this always here? I don't know. Huh? Headband grants the swearer +2 enhanced on charisma. It's the same type, don't usually stack. Oh, hell yeah! Hell yeah! Give me that +2 charisma bonus. Let's go. That's nice. That's very nice. I like that. I like it a lot. Let's go.
Hey, Chief. Hey, Dreamboat, come over here. I want to talk to you about something. Something really important.
It's relatively calm for someone in shackles, but his tail whisks back and forth in agitation. Notice your two things system backs you over.
Quit bothering the decent people in here, Woljif, or I'll knock your teeth out.
What's it to you, Delvin Dum-Dum? You were told to guard me, and I'm not stopping you. But no one told me I had to shut my trap.
Who are you? What do you want from me? What are you in chains? Your shadow, what was that? Who are you?
Woljif Jeffdo. I deal in useful things. I can get you whatever you want. Anything. But there's just one problem. I'll lay it out for you. Simple job, 30 minutes tops. We go someplace, talk to someone, and in return, whatever you want, I'll get it for you. Some extra rations? No problem. Armor, weapons, scrolls, you name it. It's as good as yours. If you need my help with something, whistle and I'll be there. I'm handy enough with knives too, and even my magic know-how isn't too shabby.
What a load of guff. If you were good at magic, you wouldn't be stuck in here now, would you?
Don't you listen to him, Chief. He'd find fault with the Queen herself. I'll be useful to have in battle, and I'll sell whatever you want at a reasonable price. It's your lucky day. You won't meet another gem like me in Canabras. Does it really matter? Don't get hung up on the past, Chief. Don't look to the future. Live in the here and now.
It matters, trust me.
He was caught thieving.
A rogue.
Get me out of here and I'll tell you. And don't worry, it's not contagious. That's easy. You know Irabeth? Feisty looking gal, always wears armor. You can't miss her. She's the meanest fighter in the whole city. When you see her, put in a good word for me, will ya? Tell her there's this guy Woljif locked up for no good reason in the Defender's Heart. Well, for the follies of his youth. And he really wants to get out on bail so he can keep up his good behavior and make a contribution to society. You got that? Will you do it? I knew I could count on you. Knew it the moment I laid eyes on you.
I don't know about you, but having a rogue in the party kind of sounds nice. I don't know what his morality is though. That's the part I don't know. That's the part I don't like. I don't know what his morality is.
Let us press on.
Well, this is a petty thief from a gang of thieflings operating in Abreast. That's what we call them in these parts. They tried to rob a vendor of magical items recently. Unfortunately, we apprehended only one of them and the rest managed to escape. We have nowhere else to keep him apart from the Defender's Heart, but that's hardly a prison. Wolfjeff knows it too. He's been begging us for days to let him go free or have someone vouch for him. He's already asked you to put in a good word for him, hasn't he? If you want to recruit Wolfjeff and put him to good use, go ahead and take him off your guard's hands. We can ill afford to let a soldier spend their days watching over a middling thief. I hope the tiefling proves useful should you decide to take him along. Appreciate it. I just need to know his morality. The second I know his morality is when I'll let him in my party or not. Look, we can't be going around having like chaotic evil rogue or some shit, you know? If he's chaotic neutral though, he can stay, honestly. Mr. I do what I want.
Well, Chief, what do you got for me? You must be a smooth talker. Come on, Delvin. Get these bracelets of yours off me. I'm going free.
You're sure to regret this. This tiefling will fleece you for everything you've got. Mark my words.
You're a bitter little man, Delvin. Petty and mean. You can't even be happy for me, can ya? I pity you. I'll leave you alone with your sad little soul. So long. And now, Chief, straight down to business. You see, I'm one of those guys that people around here call thieflings. We just call ourselves the family. After we knocked over that shop and I got stuck here in the Defender's Heart, a little bird told me that big sister Charisme wanted to see me. Bet she had some questions to ask me. You following?
You want revenge for them letting you take the fall. I get it.
Now, she won't be asking me questions like, Woljif, how'd you manage to get out of this one? Or, Woljif, you're so thin, didn't they feed you? No, something serious has gone down, and I just know they want to try to pin something on me. I can feel it in my tail. So, I knew right away that I couldn't go alone. You turned up just in time, Chief. You don't need to do anything when we get there. Just stand behind me and look mean, and I'll handle the rest. Somehow. Let's go. I'll show you the way.
We march ahead.
Aha, he is chaotic neutral. I knew it. Let's go. Thought he would be. He speaks like a chaotic neutral character. $20 decks, not bad, not bad. Alright, back up to the tavern. This is where I save my game and call it a day for now. Alright, thank you all for tuning in. Sorry I didn't really get much done, but we got to meet our party members a good deal. Probably play this again in a bit, that way we'll get something actually done. But for now,